Thank you, future Abdul. We are here with a very distinguished gentleman, number 4 in your leaderboard for Chapter 3, Chad FPV Fly. How are you doing, Chad?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
I'm having a great day as well. We're going to start that over again because I'm going to turn my phone to silent. It absolutely abhorred me that the goddamn bank messaged me that I have a bill, and that ruined my sound recording. I don't know if you heard it, but that irks me. Ooh, okay, shut up. We'll close everything here. Close that door, WhatsApp. Go away. Go away. You ruined. It felt like such a nice start. Here we go. Here we go again. Thank you, future Abdul. I'm here with a super distinguished gentleman. Check him out. Chad FPV Fly Nowak. Number 1 in your hearts. Number 4 on the Chapter 3 leaderboards. How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you doing?
I'm having a grand old day. I finished like in the 30s in chapter 3, which was a much better performance for me than in chapter 2, and I'm really looking forward to getting even higher in chapter 4. Did you make any changes for your regimen in chapter 3? You went up by 5 spots, brother.
Well, there was a little secret trick. For the last 3 years of me learning to fly, I've used a 50 hertz television to fly through for 3 years of learning.
Ooh.
So I had some little gremlins get in my ear and tell me that I needed an actual monitor. So yeah, I went out and got a 165 hertz monitor. Fly got some extra speed. And it's still coming, I'm still getting used to it, and you'll notice that I'm still busting personal bests.
Yeah, I noticed that during my daily training today, where I was out on back to our 30 and 30 challenge days, where beginning of the month, going through all of the default tracks. And who do I find on number 1 on the leaderboards for all the default tracks but Mr. FPV Fly?
Oh yeah!
So working hard, man. That's how you get it done, right? Like you gotta work hard and put in the time. There was another trick that you used for chapter 2 as well that we didn't get to talk about, which was a secret marker for altitude. Before going into that mad canvas tent that puts so many, I know from my own experience, it ruined so many runs, that tent. But you had it marked out. How did you figure that out, man?
It was just a height thing when I come round it. A lot of little tricks. Us pilots, we don't see it directly. We'll go do something. We'll see it out of the corner of the eye, or we'll come in and we'll be too fast, and suddenly we'll see this line because we're too fast, or even reverse, we'll be too slow, and we'll see this other line that you see out of the corner of your eye, and you go, "Hang on, that's where it is. That's what's going to give me an edge." And in that case, the sign was the height of the tables inside the tent. So as long as you were at the height of that sign, you cleared the tables. And that took out the up or down that you needed because you were at the height. You only had to worry about left or right at that point. Which, mind you, still didn't help me because I still come in pretty bad down the line. But it obviously helped me enough to come up where I was. Because without finding out the little niche tricks or triggers for yourself, you are a lot slower. So that was the little trigger for that one.
It is really important to get all of those bits and bobs in place, especially for a track like Chapter 2, which was so punishing. As G-Man put it in his interview, it wasn't technical. It was just punishing. It was one death trap after another. Whereas Chapter 3, there's only one part of it that's punishing, which is the lava cave. The rest of it is just torturous. What was your strategy to deal with the floor being lava?
All right. So to break it down for that race, we Liftoff had a pro race in that this year, and I competed in that pro race and I took out second at the time. So I already had a bit of a breakdown on that race from once before.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is only one trigger for that race. Okay, longer in the air equals to more damage on the drone. So therefore, you need to go as quick as physically possible to get out of the air as quick as physically possible to put down your best physically possible time. No, there was no other triggers in it. There's no time, in my style, there was no time to stop for repairs because it was all about flying as fast as you can to get out of the air as quick as you can to receive as less damage as you can. Nothing else. And then just practice, and grind away, as we know. Number one rule, grind at it, get used to it, get it in the memory banks, get the muscle memory tight, and then just trust in yourself.
Through that practice, did you notice over the course of the month that you kept making significant progress, like every day or every week, or was it a matter of, it was just those magical moments, magical runs came together at the end?
No, I was doing better, and I didn't achieve my practice time in race.
Okay.
All right, I was slower on the race than my practice time, so I was a little bit. I beat myself up a little bit for that race because I know I could take a few seconds off what I was doing. But like everything, it just wasn't me on the day, and I didn't get my lines on the day. I worked hard, I tried hard, put in my best runs, but it just didn't come together this time. Still, happy enough with fourth, not happy enough not beating the G-Man or Finzi. Coming for you guys. But we're getting closer. We're moving along.
Definitely getting closer and moving along because on that entire run when we were trying to take it apart, at the only bit where you left a smidge of time was where you came out of the lava cave and did a turnaround to go back into the trench run. There was at least enough time there for you to have gotten ahead of Fusel. No ifs, ands or buts. So we're definitely got to keep our eyes on you and that new 165 hertz monitor. The flies definitely flying a whole lot faster. And you talked about some great stuff there with regards to your attitude to the race. That is some old school champions mentality. That's got to be the mindset that we have, right? That we're that you are only as good as you are on the day, and that's okay, right? Like that's how it's always going to be. That's how it is for you. That's how it is for G-Man. That's how it is for Finzi. Finzi managed to pull it out for chapter 3 this time by just a teeny tiny itty bitty little bit, but they were going back and forth practically every other day, every day of the month. So you never really know on the day how good are you going to be. There's some more old school strategies that we were talking about in our pre-interview about how you give yourself that little edge on the day. One is use the pilot eyes to find the little references, which is what real world pilots do as well, children, just by the way. But there's another little trick that we talked about, Mr. Fly. Would you like to tell us about that? What's another piece of magic you want to use?
All right, so here it is, everyone. We all know that you try your best, and sometimes you might not catch that fastest pilot. He might have more skills than you, and he is quicker than you. So you know you're not going to catch him in speed or skills. But there's always another way. Get in his head. Tell some bullshit lies. Tell him that you're quitting. Tell him you're never going to fly again. You're done with competing. And then turn up and drop a time. Throw them all out. Hey, always play with your mind. May not win in the speed in the end, but I might win with screwing with your head. So that's the thing, yeah? You've got to take every advantage you can. Now, my father told me a long time ago, turn your weakness into your strength, right? My weakness is I'm not number 1 and I'm not number 2 and I'm not number 3 at the moment. So therefore, if I can't get them with my skills, get them with my mind. It may not work extremely well, but even if it helps just a little bit, that gets me a little bit closer.
It's those little bits that eventually add up and get you ahead. Like you said, you're not number 1, 2, or 3 yet.
No, but
Mm-hmm.
doing all right.
We got some bling bling. Got those are liftoff champions badge. Just by the way, if you guys are watching, you get those if you win a pro league tournament over the course of an annual year. 3 years flying, 3 shiny badges on your lapel. Ah, that is a job well done, sir. That is a job well done.
I'm told I might get a special one when I beat Finzi and G-Man. Maybe a special badge for me then for working extremely hard.
I think they'll need to give you an entire necklace for that one. I think G-Man and Finzi might turn around and be like, hey, that gentleman deserves a necklace. He worked hard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, the old man of the sky still pushing hard.
The old man of the sky keeping the rest of us young, brother. That's you're keeping all of us young, keeping us on our toes and making sure that we push ever so faster. You were already, even in this, even for this chapter, you were ahead of the bunch. It was you and Fusil right behind the leaders, and everyone else is a good 3 seconds behind. So you're certainly ahead of the pack. Super excited to see what comes out in chapter number 4 with that 165 hertz monitor. Have you already started dialing that in? We see a time for you is up there. Started finding your little
if you actually look at that race, you'll notice I stuffed up quite a lot.
Ooh.
Okay. However, what do you remember what G-Man has?
Not off the top of my head, sadly. I believe Finzi's in the lead right now.
I think it's a 29. Okay, G-Man's hitting on a 29, and G-Man, you're in my sights, brother. I'm dropping 27s in practice today.
Ooh.
So, yeah, better keep pushing, mate, because I'm a coming and I'm a coming strong.
And today is just the 2nd of October. Given you've got another 28 days to get this done, you're going to be a lot lower than 27. They better watch out. They had better.
Just need to lay it down, brother.
Soon. We have faith in that. We're going to be keeping an eye on all of the racers, especially on our leaderboard toppers, including our veteran racer, Mr. Fly himself. Speaking of things to keep an eye on before we let you go, there are, for those of you who've been following the Fly on the Discord, on the Liftoff Discord, and on FPV Fly's YouTube channel of the same name, FPV Fly. You should be able to see it somewhere on the screen right now. Future Abdul, put his name on the screen somewhere. Thank you, please.
The future Abdul is called Rotor Rides, one word. I hope you got that, future Abdul. Good work, brother. Nice work.
I do remember that, and I'm sure future Abdul will leave a snarky comment to past Abdul on this about this. Thank you for pointing out. So check out Rotor Rides, you guys, not only for great content, which is motorbiking and flying around all over Australia, but there's also a brand spanking new frame about to come out, designed by this super distinguished gentleman right here. Oh my god, we're gonna get a look. It's been right there. We're gonna look at that. Ooh, that looks real nice and clean. We got some superb TPU on it. There's some more TPU face masks that are gonna go onto that, guys. What do you call her? Chad, have you decided on a name?
It's called a skull fly.
I'm sorry, say again.
It's called a skull fly. So it is written across the top of the drone inset that says skull fly. And if this was removed and you're flying with your DJI Air 3, on the top plate there's a skull cut into the top plate as well.
That is a super exciting looking frame.
So the arms are designed to look like bones, and it's meant to look like a skull in the middle. So you've got a skull and bones drone.
That is very intriguing. I can't think of any other frame. There are definitely frames that have certain aesthetics to them, but I can't think of any frame that quite has anywhere in the world. And please let us know in the comments if I'm mistaken about this. But none of them actually have like an aesthetic value to it. There's lots of design that goes about weight reduction, that goes about vibe reduction, blah 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 blah, which I'm sure is all also dialed into the frame. But this one also has that super cool aesthetic. Oh, I can't wait to see some nice photographs.
Yeah,
of that.
I'm getting on a 1300 milliamp battery. I'm getting around 8 minutes flight time freestyling, ripping it,
No.
and I'm getting 10 minutes and above for cinematic flying.
I have that's a 5-inch that has a that has a camera and that has a GoPro on it for these flight times.
It has the session on it, GoPro session.
I hate you so much.
It's all right, brother. We will get you one, Abdul. We will get a skull fly to you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna make that happen. I need me those 8-minute 5-inch times in my life. My rigs are big, heavy boys, all of them. So I'm happy with 4 minutes, frankly, when I get it. So 8 minutes is something that I really want in my life. Really want in my life. Well, let's see how soon the frame gets up. Rotor rides. Future Abdul will have that on the screen as well. Rotor rides on YouTube, you guys. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the Liftoff Discord and on the Liftoff channels to see the results of the super exciting Chapter 4, which will be coming at you right after Halloween this year, and we'll roll into Chapter 5. Thank you so much for taking the time out for us, Chad, and for taking the time out to put on a Liftoff sticker and some badges for us. You look absolutely gorgeous. I gotta say, ain't no other racer making it look that good, brother. Couple of them might be making it look faster, but ain't no one making it look that good.
Thank you, right? Thank you very much for everything.
All the best for Chapter 4, brother. See you on the other side.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Liftoff number 1.
You heard it here. Liftoff number 1. Back to you, Future Abdul.